Oh, hello YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, we are going over my August TBR list. I think I'm finally getting out of my reading slump I was in for so long because I've actually been wanting to read lately, which has been helping. But still, for August, I didn't want to go like wild and put in like so many books that it was an unobtainable goal. So I put in like a fair number of books, and I think I can obtain this goal. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, trying to keep this like good momentum going. But enough about that. Let's get into what's actually on deck for August. First category is book clubs, and I have 2 book clubs I'm doing this month. First up, we have A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn, and this won the poll for my channel member and patron book club for August. So this is what we're all going to be reading together. I have had like the Veronica Speedwell mystery series on my TBR for an uncomfortable amount of time. It's really long, and I was talking to my patrons and members, and they were like, you need to read it. So I was like, okay, you guys mean it, I'll put it on the poll. And then like I found out they meant it. So yes, you guys have decided we are going to be reading this one. I am very excited for it. This is kind of like a Victorian era murder mystery romance. You have Veronica. She's going around living her life, doing adventures, maybe having occasional romantic dalliances. And she thwarts her own kidnapping and gets taken in by like this German baron, right? However, the problem here is that German baron guy gets killed, so it's up to Veronica and this guy who's like a historian that was like German guy's friend, who like, it's like an enemies to lovers type of thing here, named Stoker. They gotta team up, figure out who killed the German baron so they don't get killed next. So murder mystery, enemies to lovers. It has a lot of things going for it that I find fascinating. So hopefully I'm also really gonna enjoy this. For the Vintage Lesbian Readathon, we are going to be reading Loving Her by Anne Allen Shockley. And this is kind of, we're doing it every other month for a while. This time, Bookish Realm will be hosting, but this is kind of a really interesting, you know, vintage lesbian romance, obviously, but it's 2 women kind of coming together, trying to escape their pasts and find like a new future together with each other. I think all of these lesbian romances, obviously, we're picking happily ever afters. We're not picking like, oh no, they all died for being lesbians. We're not doing that here. So I am excited for it because it's a book I had never heard of before, and I probably wouldn't have picked up otherwise. So yes, we're going to be reading this one. It's going to be towards the end of the month. I will put the date at the bottom of the screen here. But again, it's going to be hosted over on Bookish Realm, so come hang out with us. It's going to be a lively discussion because the last time we had our book club meet, we went off the rails. So I'm expecting wildness. Next category is special projects, and I got 2 of them. First up, we're getting towards the end of the Vampire Chronicles, but we're still going through them with Prince Lestat by Anne Rice. This one is kind of an interesting one because I feel like she already ended the series, and then like, you know, 15 years later, she's like, I got some more stories to tell. Let's come back to this. So we're here, Prince Lestat. And in this one, you know, time has gone by and like vampires have just proliferated out of control. There's too many of them. And now there's like this like mysterious voice in the head of all of these really old vampires telling them to go burn the new vampires. So like vampires are getting burned all over the place, and they gotta, you know, our old vampire friends have to come together and figure out, who the heck is this voice? Why are they making us burn people? That whole thing, you know? So I am excited. Just knowing the description here, I'm like, this is gonna go off the rails. It's gonna be a lot, but I am excited to keep going on with this series. So this one I will be recapping in total. I'm also continuing on my James Bond read-along series with From Russia with Love by Ian Fleming. This one is an interesting one because I'll just tell you right now, sneak peek, spoiler alert here, James isn't even in the first half of the book. So it's an interesting concept that Fleming was playing with here. And it's not my favorite of the books, but it has like a really good ending because originally Ian Fleming was kind of like, I don't got any more stories to tell. I don't want to write these anymore. Who cares? And so he was gonna kill James off, and obviously he didn't. There's several more books of this series, but it was kind of an interesting idea just to be like, well, I'm gonna leave this ending real ambiguous. So I am excited to be reading this one. Sorry for the slight spoiler there, but you know what? It's been out for a while, so I'm gonna be doing a full recap anyway. And yeah, this one, it's interesting because they go to so many different point of views that aren't James. So I am excited to reread this and do my video on it. Final category here is kind of cults and horror. I didn't pick this theme on purpose, but I've realized that is the theme. First up here, I have Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. I have been really wanting to read this one, and I just haven't yet, but I'm doing it this month. So Chuck Tingle, we all know as the infamous romance novelist from all of his, basically, I'm going to say zany titles of his books, but also just exploring all of the different ways that love exists. So I also appreciate that. But this one in particular, this is a horror book, and it also takes place at a gay conversion therapy center. So obviously the horror is kind of writing itself there, but it's also about, you know, we're going to take the gay conversion therapy and make it literally a horror story, and also have these characters, you know, find the courage to like maybe burn this whole institution down. So I'm very excited for reading it, and also the cover, gorgeous. So basically I'm gonna call this horror, obviously, but also culty, because gay conversion therapy, culty. Next up on my list, I have Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, and this is the sequel to Little Thieves, which I adored. It's so fun and snarky and sarcastic anti-hero for our main character. Love that. So we're back at it again here. So we're back with Vanya, and she is kind of an anti-hero, a bit of a rascal, a bit of a con woman, and she's going through doing her thing, she gets herself into trouble, as she does, and she just kind of makes up a god that she is religiously worshiping, and that's why she was doing these things. It's religion stuff. And whoopsie, it turns into a cult. She didn't mean to start a cult, but like a cult starts and they all start worshiping this god that she made up. But the thing about making up gods and then people starting to worship them is that it can create egregores, which I'm assuming is what the story is gonna kind of go for here. But I'm just like in for the ride because I really like Vanya. I like her character. She's rascally, she's a con woman, she's an anti-hero, also accidentally started a cult. So I think it's just gonna be really fun. I really liked Little Thieves, so I'm here for this one. I'm very excited for the sequel. Last up on deck, I have Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Oh man, this is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. I am so excited for it. I am trying not to overhype it because I like a lot of Silvia Moreno Garcia's work, but I don't like all of it. So I'm worried a little, but I'm trying not to like overhype this or worry about it. I just want to go in and enjoy it. So purposely, I'm not reading much about it in advance, whether it's reviews or like blurbs about it. I'm just going to read like, you know, the bold print blurb because that's as much as info as I want here. So this is a meld of Mexican horror movies and Nazi occultism, a dark thriller about the curse that haunts a legendary lost film and awakens one woman's hidden powers. That's all I want to know. Tell me no more. I want to go in blind on this. But yes, it's in the 90s. It's in Mexico. It deals with like Mexican cinema, Mexican filmmakers, and like, you know, a spooky lost film that has secret like cursed powers and stuff. So tell me no more, take my money. Like I already think that sounds amazing. So I'm very excited to read this one, but purposely I'm trying to go in as blind as possible because I want to be here for the ride. I don't want to like overhype or over worry. I just want to go into it. So I'm cutting it there. I don't want to know anymore. All right, so that's my TBR list for August. I'm setting obtainable goals. I didn't put like a ton of books on it, but I put an appropriate amount of books that I feel like I can actually read in the course of a month. So we're doing that, and maybe I'll get back up to like reading 10, 11, 12 books again a month, but right now I'm just not vibing with it. Maybe because it's summer. I don't know. I'm trying to come out of my reading slump and not force it. Let me know in the comments down below, what's a book you want to go into completely blind? You don't want to know anything about it. You just want to be completely surprised by everything you find out in the book. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.